Hi everybody, we're going to be looking at various immigrant groups that came to the United States between the 1800s and early 1900s. They came for a number of reasons, things like land, the availability of good land, if they were farmers, the opportunity to become wealthy, if they were looking to do some mining for gold or silver or other precious minerals. Maybe where they lived was torn apart by war, or there was overcrowding as a result of overpopulation of their country, and so there wasn't much land or food or jobs available, so people start coming to the United States. And also because of religious persecution, maybe some countries acted out against people that believed or had different faiths than the dominant faith of that particular country. And so they came to America where freedom and individual rights were respected. So we're going to look at some of these immigrant groups today and tomorrow and finish up on Friday. And what you're going to do is read these little cards. There's 3 different cards. There's one on Scandinavia, another one on Germany, and today the third one on Eastern Europe. And as you're reading, you're going to fill out this graphic organizer about each immigrant group. So what I'm going to do is read the card to you. Of course, you can look at this presentation without listening to me read it to you. Some kids like to have it read to them, and that's perfectly fine. But I'm going to just show you how to fill in the graphic organizer, and then you can finish the other 2 on your own, and then there will be 2 more tomorrow. All right, so let's begin with Scandinavia. I'm going to make this larger so it's easier to read. Scandinavia. Most Scandinavian immigrants arrived between 1865 and 1890. Scandinavians left because their populations had grown so land and work were not available. War and prejudice were also problems in Scandinavian countries. Many Scandinavians settled in the Midwest, especially in Wisconsin and Minnesota, because the weather and landscape were similar to Scandinavia's. Most worked in the timber industry or became farmers. Scandinavians also started many schools and colleges. It was a challenge to learn a new language. The biggest benefits were freedom, lots of available land, good jobs, better wages, and the chance to build a new life and even become wealthy. Things they brought with them included cast iron stoves, cabbage rolls, and Scandinavian arts and crafts. In this little quotation box up here, it says, "What is home for us people from the north without a glorious summer, without snow, without woods and water? We feel at home when we find ourselves surrounded by beautiful nature, by evergreens, forests, along a lake or river. Then we can call it New Sweden." And this is exactly what they were talking about as far as Scandinavians trying to find somewhere to live that reminded them of home. And so they're going to find a place that has snow, which the Midwest certainly does, Wisconsin, where I'm from. Lots of woods, a lot of water, and surrounded by beautiful nature. And so that's exactly what they found in Wisconsin and Minnesota and other parts of the Midwest, and that's why they settled there. So filling in the graphic organizer, I kind of did this already, and I just got all this information from the card. And when you're doing it, you'll have to kind of go back and forth to the card, to this graphic organizer. But I've already got this done, so I'm just going to show you what I put. So years that they came, the country that we're talking about is Scandinavia. The years they came were between 1865 and 1890. The reasons for coming: population grew, not enough land and work, war, and prejudice. So there was a lot of prejudice and acting out, hatred, bullying, if you will, against people of Scandinavian descent. And people of Scandinavia, it's really referring to a group of countries like Denmark, Sweden, and the Netherlands. So it's not just like one country, it's kind of a region of countries. Where they settled was the Midwest, especially in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Some of the challenges they had was learning a new language. A lot of these things, of course, we can relate to today, immigrants coming to our country. Benefits they experienced were freedom, land, jobs, better wages, new life and wealth. And things that they brought, cast iron stoves, cabbage rolls, arts and crafts. So all these things I took straight from the card. And I just jotted down, not complete sentences, just little notes about each immigrant group. All right, so the next one is Germany. So on your chart, you would put Germany in the center of the graph. Many immigrants came to the United States after a failed revolution in Germany in 1848. Reasons for leaving included economic hardship, political change, high taxes, and a lack of land. Though many countries lost millions of citizens to immigration, Germany had the highest number, with more than 5.5 million Germans coming to the United States between 1820 and 1920. Just an aside note, my great-great-grandparents were part of that group, and when my great-great-grandfather on my father's side came to the United States, he came 2 weeks before he joined the Union Army and fought in the Civil War. Germans actually were the largest immigrant group in the Civil War that fought in an American war. And of course, none of them spoke English, so you can imagine how hard that was, fighting in a war when the people that are commanding you don't even speak the same language as you. The other large immigrant group that came to the United States and contributed to the Civil War were the Irish. All right, so getting back to the card, most settled in the Midwest, especially Wisconsin. Many settled in New York and Chicago, while some settled in Minnesota, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. And again, they're settling in areas that remind them of their homeland. They bought farms and started businesses. Challenges they experienced included learning a new language and a new way of life. Again, all things that immigrants today can relate to. The biggest benefits were freedom, available land for farming, good jobs, better wages, lower taxes, and the opportunity to be successful. Finally, the things they brought with them included sauerkraut, sausage, hot dogs, pretzels, and cuckoo clocks. The quote in this box up here from a German immigrant in 1871 says, "When I arrived here in Pomeroy, Ohio, I immediately found work in a shovel factory, which was then located here. If I remember correctly, I received $1 for 1 day's work. I worked in this factory for 1 year. Since I was a carpenter back home, I found a better job the following year." All right, so you would go to your card, this graphic organizer for Germany, and complete this just like you did with Scandinavia. And our final card for today is Eastern Europe. I'm going to begin with a quote here. It says, "There was absolutely no chance for the common man over there to get ahead. You just lived and you finally died. We'd have meat about once a year. Well, when we came to America for a few cents, we ate like kings compared with what we had over there. Oh, it was really heaven." And this is from a Czech immigrant in the late 1800s. All right, so Eastern Europe is really referring to a group of countries, not necessarily just one country. So this card goes as follows. Most arrived in the late 1800s to 1914. They left their homes because of poverty, oppression, and a lack of opportunities. Eastern European Jews were oppressed by governments and even killed. Many settled in coal mining areas in the East or in cities near factories and big industry in the East and Midwest. Jewish people settled in cities across the country, but especially New York City. Many worked as coal miners or took jobs in factories or other industries. Jewish entrepreneurs started businesses. Challenges included learning a new language and new culture. Those who were uneducated often lived in tenements, which are like apartment buildings, or had low-paying jobs. The biggest benefits were jobs, freedom from oppression, and the chance to build a new life and get ahead. Things they brought with them included pastrami, bagels, dumplings, and Eastern European arts. And once again, you'll go to your graphic organizer and you will complete this chart. Let me know if you have any questions and if I can help in any way. Enjoy.